Dear Reddit, what is your weirdest dream/nightmare you've ever had? My best friend took me to some farmland during a time when it was covered in a thick layer of snow, gave me a large squirt gun, and told me to spray the cows as they came in. I take one look at the cows, and I get sad, and throw the gun into the snow. The farmer, or a farmhand, sees us, yells and curses at us, and makes us line up against the fence. I swear to him that it was all my friend's idea. This large mob of people consisting of everyone I know gathers around to watch this unfold, and at some point, my friend says something to me. In that moment, I fly into this murderous rage, grabbing him by the throat and screaming, "You son of a bitch. I'll fucking kill you. Fuck you. Fuck you." His face is getting redder and redder with every squeeze. Finally, my mom pulls me away, and I let him go. Yo, what the fuck? I have no idea what that dream meant. It's a warning. Someday, you'll understand. 2 weird dreams. 1. 20 years from now, my future wife and I buy my former high school and turn it into a house. 2. Had a wife in the military, either deployed or deceased, and around 10 to 12 children. I told these 2 dreams to my friend, and he stitched them together to form what he calls the prophecy. Dude, your dream wife is a fucking badass for having 10 children, while on active duty military, or expertly skilled at avoiding deployment. My first memory was a nightmare I had when I was around 5. I remember it vividly, and I have no idea why it scared me so much. I look back and laugh at it because it is so weird. Anyways, my friends and we are all playing in my childhood home. Then there was a knock at the door. My friend went to open it, and there was Barney at the door. My friend invited him in, but every time he looked at me, he had evil red eyes. No one else noticed this. Eventually, Barney tried to get everyone outside. I followed hesitantly, and as soon as I stepped outside I saw that Triceratops character charging everyone with her horns, and had glowing red eyes. That was when I realized they were out for blood. I tried to get everyone to run, but they wouldn't listen. I watched Barney and the Triceratops take down my younger brother, and that's when I woke up. Dude, a purple T-Rex and a yellow Triceratops with red eyes was leading you outside to murder you. How the hell is that not scary? Being chased through an abandoned hospital Scooby-Doo style by the 1940s Wolfman, while everything was black and white. I'm imagining the hallway shot, where they keep showing up in different doorways. I hear an organ instrumental of the Scooby-Doo theme song right now. I actually have some of mine written down, so I'll just copy paste my favorites notes onto here. Jack Black is in a movie about a mid-low-tier ranking gangster addicted to pain meds pulling off insane heists and murders so lower-tier gangsters stop trying to kill him and his friends for his spot. This happens after he finds his dead friend with a 7 of diamonds playing card with the letter J burned into it. Gang is ranked by playing cards. Ace is new guys. King is big boss. Jack is currently 7 and card was a sign that they were coming for him. At one point he gets high in the back of a garbage truck and thinks he's in Lego Star Wars. Police trying out his weird mannerisms, one of Jack's mannerisms, to try to connect him to the crimes. Jack catches the police chief in high heels when he tries breaking into the station. Finds out while spying on Chief that his friends were going to double cross him. Name of the movie will be Jack Black's Blackjack. I was in a coma when I was 16. Over 4 days of real life I spent years living in various dream worlds. I relive them all the time when I sleep. Weirdest is the island. I wake up on a beach on a good-sized deserted jungle island. It's a normal island at first glance aside from it being split down the middle. Half is normal real life textures and half is like somebody made a Dr. Seuss filter and painted that half of the island. A coconut tree looks like a coconut tree, but wildly vibrant colors, all randomized. There's a tiger on the island that always hunts me. I usually just kill her early on though. At this point the dream is kinda a game to me. I know how to do everything. I found all the Easter eggs. I love playing that dream though. I was jetpacking around my hometown and this one asshole from there was trying to kill me. He crashed a ship by me and my jetpack stopped working. So of course I went back in time and asked some random new jogger to run after him when he landed. Did he catch him? I didn't stick around to find out. Pretty sure the naked man died though. Being chased by the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with the cast of Ically. Spencer was popping off on that turret though. Jesus take the wheel. Satan get behind me. Buddha, man the 0.50 calories. Walking into a castle and ending up in a giant room full of different breads. Guess I was craving bread. Is this what heaven smells like? Let's get this bread. I was being chased by someone and Plankton saved me. Trying to steal the secret formula. Huh. Good grief, he's naked. This will probably get buried, but I once dreamed Peppa Pig had died of swine flu, and I was genuinely sad. I was a child and had just watched The Predator with Schwarzenegger. In my dream, the predator was hunting me. He finally caught me with the spear where my arm was joined to my body and pushed on it so as to dislodge my arm. I woke up with my arm completely flabby and non-functional for the next 30 minutes. You should have gotten to the chopper. I've had a dream where I was walking in the corridor of my apartment at night. I spot an old woman with a cloth tied around her head to protect herself from the chilling cold. She was at the end of the corridor. I turn and look at her, and she looks up at me and drops her walking stick. Her eyes were black and her mouth twisted into a snarl. I was frozen to the spot. She started fucking sprinting towards me, and I didn't hesitate to nope the fuck out of there. I was extremely slow at running in the dream and the corridor never seemed to end. I turned around while running, and the old woman was inches from my face, but was now smiling. She told me to stop and look at her. She was just about to say something when I woke up. It was 8:47 in the morning and my parents were in my room, packing. My mum was ironing out my clothes. We were moving to India from Singapore that day. It was 2012 and I was 11. When we went to our rented room for the time being in India, I shit you not, the room number was 847. One side rent I was chopping meat off of meat hooks with butter knives and feeding it to robotic heads. There were no bodies, just the heads chomping down on the meat I threw to them. And while doing that I was also talking to an aristocratic cockroach called Mr. Johnson, who I knew was an aristocrat because he was wearing a tuxedo, a monocle, and was fat. He had a deep raspy kind of voice, and I don't recall our conversation. However, at one point he said he had to go, and I asked, "But Mr. Johnson, won't you stay for dinner?" To which he replied, "No, and you won't either." And then I woke up 1 or 2 minutes before my alarm rang. Mr. Johnson became a joke among my group of friends, and a supervillain alongside Mal Pig, the evil swine. I remember one that I infiltrated a villain meeting, and there were many villains there. It was in the style of My Hero Academia, so subtitles appeared each time a character was introduced, summarizing their power. When it was time, an old woman, holding a toilet under her arm, entered in the room, followed by 2 henchmen. Her subtitle, Toilet Queen. She has a toilet. For some reason the other villains were terrified of her. Imagine all the other villains having long descriptions of her power, and then arrives a villain, who's an old lady holding a toilet. Her power is that she has a toilet and everyone freaks out. Also, there was that time I saw in a magazine a new season of Dragon Ball Super, announcing the new villain, a female Saiyajin named Killer. Her notes said she was a Saiyajin and a Marxist. This is the first one to make me cry laugh, so thank you. Toilet Queen sounds like someone my mind could whip up. Being in a completely white room with no perceivable door or windows. Around the entire room about 3 inches from the ceiling is a model train track that comes into the room through a small tunnel from one wall, wraps the whole room, and then returns into a tunnel at the opposite side of the first wall. It is also completely white. On this track comes a small white model tank, smoking from its barrel the entire time it travels round the room. I get an anxious feeling of displacement, like the odd sensation you get if you take your thumb and push it as far as it will reach between your pointer and middle finger. I don't know why that specific action makes me get the same feeling of displacement, but it's the closest thing to it that I've been able to find out in the waking world. I have this dream around 5 to 6 times a year, and thus has been happening for more than 10 years now. I have no idea why.